Now let's welcome Markus, CEO of Mento Labs, Rosette, Product Marketing Director at Opera, and Isha, Head of Ecosystem at Celo. They will be talking about building, scaling, and enhancing MiniPay to onboard users in Africa. And it will be moderated by Christian, founder and CEO of fonbnk.
Hello.
Hello. Okay.
Hey everybody, I'm Chris Duffus, founder of fonbnk. We are the leading bridge to Web3 across mobile-first, cash-based economies like those throughout sub-Saharan Africa, and we convert prepaid mobile money into crypto stablecoins, and we are a proud partner of the Celo ecosystem, and specifically Opera MiniPay, and excited to be here today and to moderate this panel. Hopefully, I can get in some good questions. I will definitely ask about this outfit and where you can buy the merchandise.
Jollygoodcelo.com.
There you go.
Okay, thank you everyone. It was really fun. See you out there.
With that, I'm going to start with a little bit more detailed introductions. Tell us who you are, what your role is, and and maybe even share a little bit about your vision for sub-Saharan Africa or emerging markets in general, and why now, why Celo, why MiniPay.
Go first. Okay. Hi, all. I'm Isha. I head ecosystem at Celo. For those that are not familiar, Celo is a layer 1 blockchain. We're transitioning to a layer 2. Testnet just launched on Sunday, so woohoo. Yeah. I love this crowd. I think what makes Celo super unique in my mind, and one of the reasons I'm at Celo, is because we are mobile first and we're very mission driven, and our mission is prosperity for all. And we have fundamental pieces to the blockchain that help us build for real world use cases in countries such as like Africa and LATAM and emerging markets, right? You just heard from Eric about Social Connect, gas on Celo is subsend. But I'm going to talk about this a little bit more personally. I grew up in Kenya, I'm Indian origin, and so really excited about like disrupting financial infrastructure in emerging markets. My background is TradFi, and like I really see there's so much potential for us to do so much innovation using blockchain technology. And I think Opera MiniPay is an excellent example of that. And with that, I'm going to pass it on. Rosie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, sure. Hey everyone, I'm Rosette, or in short, Rosie. I'm with Opera, I'm product marketing director, so I'm heading like all marketing for our mobile browsers and apps. And as of maybe now 9 or 10 months ago, also MiniPay, which has been a super exciting journey, which we'll get into in just a little bit. And I think like about Opera, hopefully all of you know it. Browser company for more than 20 years. I think it's gonna be like it's 29 years or something now. And yeah, we're mostly known for, of course, like kind of disrupting the browser space when we first started. We are actually we've been integrating like some of the most important things that you know today, such as like tab browsing, for example. But what we're also very well known for is actually that, we've been focusing on providing access to the internet also across sub-Saharan Africa, as well as Southeast Asia, which is something that is really deep in our core, I would say. If you look at it, that we have been really focusing on giving access to certain technology and internet. It's really fascinating that we find ourselves here now, together with Celo, with Mento, with fonbnk, and talking about, how we're bringing Web3 to our users on Opera Mini. And like I said, it's only been maybe 9 or 10 months or so, and it's really cool to see that we've been able to drive some fantastic adoption. And I think you also asked about the vision. So my personal vision is that my mom can actually send money to my to my family without having to go to Western Union and just being stuck there. But I think overall, you know, I think the Web3 space in itself can be a little bit overwhelming sometimes, and providing like an easy access and really growing the wallet, not just across Africa, but really globally would be really nice.
Only a few months live and already millions of users, and this is the logo, so you can see the logo here. Hi, everyone, I'm Markus. If you want to throw more swag on me, please do shoes, because nobody's doing shoes yet. I'm working on Mento at Mento Labs. Mento is a multi-currency stablecoin platform on Celo, providing many different stablecoins in different currencies. We have the Celo dollar, Celo euro. We have now a Kenyan shilling stablecoin live. We are working on a Philippine peso. We have a Brazilian real. We have a West African franc. So different currencies. And we also live in Opera Mini, in the wallet in MiniPay. And for me, like giving people access to stable currency in a easy to use wallet on a fast and cheap and scalable chain where they can identify via their phone number, as you heard in the previous panel, is a killer use case. And when people, for example, in Kenya now want to save money, they can access a dollar stablecoin in MiniPay, and they can hold that stablecoin. And even when there's inflation and the local currency is losing value against the dollar, then they are in a stable currency. But if they want to get a loan, for example, and want to borrow money, then they might have a preference for a local currency stablecoin. Because if you're a local merchant, you're building a business, and you, for example, just started with a small loan, if your local currency loses value against the dollar, you don't want to have that loan in a dollar stablecoin. And therefore, local currencies are really, really important to also get open finance to every country in the world. And yeah, we are super happy that we work on Celo, that we work together with Opera on MiniPay, that we have fonbnk as a partner, so that people can actually very easily go into these stablecoins in many different countries. And now I'm excited about this panel.
Excellent. Thanks, Markus. So I'm going to dig deeper and maybe step back a little bit. What is MiniPay, right? You know, we drink the Kool-Aid, obviously. You know, what is it, and specifically, why is it growing so fast? And you know, the one thing I think about is, you know, Opera has done such an amazing job on the continent across many emerging markets. They've beat out other well-known web companies in terms of their browser. You know, what are the key learnings from that you applied to the adoption of MiniPay and its success so far?
So if you don't mind, I'll go first, yeah? And then you add to it.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so MiniPay in itself is really just like a stable coin wallet inside of the Opera Mini browser. It's really light. It's like 2 megabytes. You can set up your account using your Google email. You can send funds like CUSD using your phone number. And yeah, it's a non-custodial wallet. Obviously, it's built on Celo. And when we think about like we've done a lot of research actually when we were talking to our own users, asking them, how do you do your payments today? Like, which platforms are you using? Like, I think we all know that, especially in Africa, mobile money is quite popular. Like in Kenya, you have M-Pesa. In Nigeria, you have OPay. But there's still certain things and certain issues that people face every single day when they're using those platforms. This is, for example, like really high transaction fees or limitations and like the amount of transactions that they can actually make. Sometimes what can also happen is that they don't have enough access to the internet, right? They're just running out of data and then they cannot make a transaction. And it feels very, the feedback that we've gotten is also that sometimes it feels very intransparent. You don't actually know where your money is going. So I think when we got together also with the Celo guys, we saw that our visions really align, us being obviously Opera Mini, a mobile browser, and you building a mobile-first experience. And we also knew that there's actually like a huge interest in Web3 among our users, right? And it just felt like the perfect match to get together and really build MiniPay from there. I think the last part that you asked about is, yeah, how did we get there? Like we already heard, we have like 3 million users or activated wallets in less than 10 months, which is really cool. We're live in 4 countries today. So it's Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, as of recently also South Africa. And I think what people really appreciate about MiniPay, aside from, of course, also like the subs and fees, is just the simplicity of it all. You know, you just send money to your friend, so you conduct the peer-to-peer payments using your phone, like a phone number, right? You just connect your contact list, and it's really easy. And I think that the interface in itself is also quite easy to digest. We're focusing on making sure that we're not actually using any complicated language. We just stick to like super simple Web2 jargon, which is like send, add your add your person, and that's basically it, right? Like look at the dApps. Here's like you can experience a little bit more. One thing that we've done, and then I also want to leave some room for you guys to comment, but it's also that we actually took out the entire Connect wallet experience. So we have dApps, like a discovery section inside of MiniPay, which makes it really easy to interact with dApps such as like BitGifty, Good Dollar, and so on. We have like really good, really good off and on ramping experience. Of course, also with you guys from fonbnk. So, and yeah, we know that people really appreciate that. We have like ambassadors on the ground that are also onboarding new people, and they're giving us really good feedback on the experience. And it seems like MiniPay is what people need today. So it's really cool.
Yeah, I concur. I must give credit where credit's due. MiniPay, the product team. I've never seen a product team that's agile. They build and ship incredibly. Like she mentioned, they have folks on the ground, ambassadors on the ground, and the ambassador network kind of is expanding on a regular basis. They take feedback from the ground and then completely pivot the product as required. It's very intuitive. You're saying your mom wants to send money to Africa. My mom doesn't know what crypto is. And she's in Kenya. I showed her the MiniPay app, and she was like, oh, now this makes sense to me, right? This is easy. She didn't have like wallet address. It wasn't scary. It's almost built like a fintech app that you're used to, right? And I think the utility of it is also really incredible. We're not doing the utility inside MiniPay, even in the dApp section, is not. It's very built for that user base, right? You want to pay your utility bill, so you can pay your utility bill from that, right? Or you want to off ramp into mobile minutes or something like that, and you can do all of that. So I think like very well executed, but very thoughtful, and very abstraction of crypto was perfect there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the like very good user experience, that it's very easy to use, is really, really key. But you also mentioned the dApp section, and I also think that will be super, super powerful, because something that I learned when we were in Kenya on the ground is that also there mobile money is really a super fragmented space. So if you have the wrong carrier, maybe you cannot use certain mobile money applications, or if you want to go cross border, it doesn't work. And now here there's a whole ecosystem now coming together that works in an open way, where different projects can build their dApp on top. It can be, in our case, for example, we're currently looking into all of these micro-lending dApps that might be interesting to also add local currencies. It could be many other things also for users on the ground to learn actually what is behind this ecosystem. So learning dApps and so on. So basically the openness of this ecosystem is really, really key.
Thanks. That was great insight. You know, one of the discussion items we talked a little bit earlier, you know, as we think about sort of how does MiniPay create an open, accessible Web3, you all talked on it a little bit about M-Pesa and how it is a type of financial infrastructure in Kenya specifically, like some 60% of the GDP flows through that. And it's become such a utility that it's baked into everything, but it is siloed, right? And every time I fly to the continent and, you know, I'm at somewhere in North Africa and I'm thinking, okay, I'm almost there. And it's like 6 to 9 hours any other place. I realize like how big it is, and that like there's 50 something different countries, 40 something currencies, and each of them is its own silo of value. And you know, you think about Web3, it was designed to be global from day one. And what I really appreciate about MiniPay and our sort of strategic efforts is that we want to be a type of bridge for the continent, enabling cross-border payments, you know, for individuals, businesses across Africa, you know, as well as Europe, US, et cetera. But maybe talk to a little bit about some of the technical things that you're doing to make MiniPay open infrastructure accessible for all. You talked about adding new markets. You know, are there other things that illustrate that?
Yeah, so definitely looking into adding more markets for sure. I think one thing that we've recently done as well is that we've integrated some new stable coins. I think it's been a week now, July 3rd it was. So we now also support USDC and USDT. And thanks to the Mento team, we now also launched like a new feature which is called Pockets, which is a simple drag and swap, like very much Web2 experience, right? It's literally just doing this and combining your USDC and USDT pocket in one. So I think this is another way to open up kind of our ecosystem, right? Maybe you want to talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think the pocket feature is really, really cool. In the end, like when building a stablecoin platform, stablecoins is the one side. We want to offer different currencies for every country in the world so that users have the choice of the currency they want to use. And as I mentioned before, if they maybe want to get a loan in a country where there's some inflation or currencies that lose value against the dollar, then maybe they want to get the loan in local currency. And then the second part of the stablecoin platform is actually this swapping feature that you can very easily can go from one currency to the other. And I think for open finance, this is really, really important that you as a user can do these FX transactions going from a Kenyan shilling to a dollar to a Brazilian real in very easy steps. And this also happens on chain. And when you then, for example, on chain can go also easily into a stablecoin like USDT, that has a lot of adoption across Africa. It's also then nice for different liquidity providers on the continent to actually touch these stablecoins because they always know, hey, I can, even if I don't know this Kenyan shilling yet from Mento, I can always go to USDT and therefore I can work on this using this currency.
You brought up a very interesting, it's a nuance. I don't know if you picked up on it, but did you imply that non-USDC backed tokens are not stablecoins?
No, that I think it's just, I mean, if you look at the whole stablecoin market, like stablecoins that are flowing around, I think 98% or so in terms of size are USDC and USDT. So if like OpenFi is about a decentralized system, it is not really a decentralized system. It's like a very centralized system that relies on very central stable coins by two companies that hopefully work out. Otherwise, the whole ecosystem has a problem. And therefore, I think what we want to build there is actually a choice for users that they also can use other assets, that they also can go into either their local currency or into the Celo dollar, and these are over collateralized stablecoins. The collateral is fully transparent because it lives fully on chain, so you can look up basically what the collateral is, and therefore we are offering more choice here for the user.
I want to just quickly add one thing because we talk about this all the time, so we know. The swap between the stablecoin, dollar-denominated stablecoins, is 1:1, right? And I kind of like dabble in DeFi. that one-to-one swap without any spread isn't available across DeFi right now, right? So what Mento is enabling is like you can go from one or the other, or the Mento stablecoins, 1:1, zero spread, right? And so when we talk about OpenFi, that's literally what needs to happen, should have happened a while ago, but I'm glad it's happening now, kind of thing, right? Where a dollar is a dollar, right? It doesn't matter what, like in the real world, a dollar is a dollar. So in Web3, OpenFi is now happening where Mento's enabling a dollar is a dollar.
Fantastic. And in many respects, like one of the things to note, if you don't already know, but like there's $100 billion settlement gap on the continent. That is the primary sort of wholesale settlement currency. And so to have it available in a democratized way is a pretty powerful thing. And now by adding a local currency stablecoin, you effectively address sort of the last few inches problem of that sort of wholesale to retail.
Absolutely, and in retail, it's so hard, at least on the continent of Africa, to get a dollar, right? I mean, to move from local currency to a dollar, so hard.
So I want to ask a little bit about like how Opera and Opera MiniPay sort of interact with one another, and how do you see that evolving?
So, I mean, right now, MiniPay lives inside of the Opera Mini browser. It's quite easily accessible. So if you are actually in Nigeria, in Kenya, in South Africa, or in Ghana, you will just simply find it inside of the menu. We also have some other like super nice promotions that we do every now and then where we've actually defaulted to using MiniPay. So we have this like shake and win campaign, which has been like, I love that campaign. It's it's really cool. We usually do it like during AFCON season, or probably now with the kickoff of EPL, you know, where we're just really celebrating like the football spirit, and we invite people to go into the app, shake their phone, and get the chance to win prizes. And you know, it's really cool that we were able to also integrate MiniPay in there, because obviously, if you think about such a campaign, just like from a general marketing standpoint, it's such a hassle to distribute funds. You can't even imagine, right? Like here you have to do Kenyan shilling, there you have to do Naira, here you have to do Rand, so it's a lot. And facilitating that through MiniPay and stablecoins has been a game changer, I would say. It has really made it a lot easier. So yeah, we're really looking forward to, you know, having more of such use cases also inside of the product. We're also looking into like some of the engagement campaigns inside of Opera Mini, you know, that they're also connected with MiniPay. And I think the big vision when it comes to MiniPay for the future is how can we actually go from the 4 markets that we're in now to covering whole of Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, to global even. And what does this look like, right? I don't want to spoiler anything, but I think we're all very excited about what's gonna come in the next months.
We're very cautiously ambitious. So you mentioned sort of the introduction of USDT. You started with CUSD, and now USDC. Talk about sort of what drove that, and how is that, in as much as MiniPay abstracts the complexity of that, you know, what is the thought behind that sort of integration, and what that might look like for the user?
Did you want to take it?
Happy to take it. So I think one part of that is, again, giving the user choice, and there might be, especially in these countries we mentioned where MiniPay is live, Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, there might be regions where it's maybe easier to on-ramp in one currency, or there might be easier to pay with one certain currency. So in the end, therefore, it is good that users have the choice. And then if it's easy to go from one to the other, to swap from Tether to Mento CUSD, then users can use whatever in their location is best.
Maybe I can just quickly add. I think there's crypto in Africa exists for some of us that are unaware. There are stablecoins that already exist there, right? And so the point of OpenFi is meeting users where they are at. And so the users on the continent are sometimes more familiar, in certain regions, in certain pockets, more familiar with one or the other stablecoin, right? So, oh yeah, the CUSD, and CUSD is done incredibly well in the dApp, right? But also the feedback, like I mentioned, right? It's a very feedback-driven app. The feedback was like, well, we already have this in our wallet. Why can't we use this? Like, why is this like gated? So what Mento is enabling is like, well, okay, if you have this in your wallet, you can kind of just like come on board with that specific token.
And maybe just something to add to what you already said, Isha, is also, of course, when we look at Opera Mini and our user base, the assumption is that these are mostly kind of Web2 users, right? But we do have, and we see that with our ambassadors on the ground, now it's like roughly 1,000 of them, giving us the feedback that, hey, I actually have people that would want to send me USDT, but I want to see it inside of my MiniPay, right? And enabling pockets is really just facilitating that, they can rely on one wallet where, like you were saying, the dollar is a dollar. It's kind of one-to-one, right? So for some of them, it might not even matter because they just have their dollar inside of MiniPay. Yeah, and I think that is super important, and it's great tech.
I mean, you touched on this a little bit, but in terms of the pockets, as well as the discovery of other Celo ecosystem dApps or MiniPay dApps, how do you facilitate that, and how important is that to this real-world user?
Probably now we have to be really quick because we are way over time and the audience is still full because it's raining like crazy outside. So
Oh man!
currently don't have a choice than just being here and listening to us. But yeah, maybe give this one to me.
Like I said, like super utility focused, right? I keep saying this, meeting users where they're at, right? Adding new dApps makes it more like, once I have balance, what do I do with the balance, right? Just adding, like, for instance, utility payments, for instance, like Good Dollar with UBI. Yeah, it's giving people choice for utility.
Well, I guess on that note, I'd like to thank you all for your time. I hope this is a very insightful panel. We'll be available to talk more. This is something we're all very passionate about and have spent many years and hours, blood, sweat, tears, etc., developing. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.